Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Today's lesson is going to be over Thou shalt have no other gods before me, dealing with the Ten Commandments. Okay? We have the civil law, which is where there's civil disputes, and, somebody might have trespassed against our neighbor, either to where a dispute came about where somebody lost another brother's dog or somebody killed another brother's animal, and then that's where the lawyer would go to the law and specifically point out how to deal with the civil dispute. And you have dietary laws, which is tell you what you can and cannot eat, who you can and cannot sell to, what foods, what's clean and unclean. You have a ceremonial law, which is dealing with the high holy days. There's a lot to go into that too. And then you have the moral laws. Moral laws is what people usually have a hard time following, right? And moral laws are predominantly pointed out in the Ten Commandments, right? The moral laws dealing with morality. The first four of the 10 are specifically dealing with the relationship between you and the Father, right? It's dealing with relationship between you and the Father. The 6 after that is between you and your brother or you and your sister. But like I said, people usually have a hard time dealing with the morality or the moral laws of the Bible, right? People can go to the feast days. People can go to a feast day, no problem. That's nothing. That's something that's enjoying. That's something that you enjoy to do, right? Get dressed up, go to the ceremonial laws. Some people don't have a hard time with the dietary laws or the civil laws, right? So being giving to one another, being loving to one another. But the moral laws is what people usually have a hard time dealing with. So this is one of the things I'm going to touch on. And usually you can find the Ten Commandments. You can find the Ten Commandments predominantly in Exodus chapter 20, and Deuteronomy chapter 5. Deuteronomy chapter 5. Exodus 20 and Deuteronomy 5. So the first scripture I want to pull out is the book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 19. Sirach 19 and 19. And it reads, "The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life." Right? So this is the belief, the principle of life. The knowledge of the commandments. Right? People can just know the commandments. They can recite the commandments, but do they have the knowledge and understanding behind the commandments? Okay? So the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. This is the principal thing of life, is knowing the knowledge and understanding behind the commandments. It says, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. They that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. And we know what pleases the Most High God, which is the laws of him, the laws of the Father. That's what pleases him. When you actually do what he commanded you to do, that's pleasing to him. Do what he commanded you to do, right? That's what's pleasing to him. So the Most High God's laws should be desired above any earthly possession, anything, right? And let's get that understanding in the book of Psalms. And go to the book of Psalms, chapter 19, and start at verse 7. Psalms 19 and verse 7. Slakia. It says, "The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul." So the law is perfect, right? What's imperfect is us. We are the ones that are imperfect. The law is perfect. It converts the soul. It changes you. It changes your soul. It changes your mindset. It changes the way you treat each other. It changes the way you act. So it says the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. Okay? The laws is what's going to make you wise. Okay? The laws is what's going to make you think and act better and have a good understanding of things on how you should be, right? Verse 8, the statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandments of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes, right? The fear of the Lord is clear, enduring forever. So it's clear and it endures forever. Anybody that wants to try to tell you that the laws are done away with, they have a rude awakening. It says it endures forever, and it does. It endures forever. Everything on earth has laws. Everything, tangible things. Everything has a law. Everything, has a basic foundation of itself, and the Most High God has a law, right? You have laws that you follow. You have laws for your children if you have children to follow, right? You have laws, you have boundaries in a relationship, okay? And that's the same way with the Most High God. He's got boundaries that He set up for us, that we should follow strict commandments, these commandments. And they're not hard to do. It says, the fear of the Lord is clear, enduring forever. The judgment of the Lord is true and righteous altogether. So it's true, righteous altogether. It says, more to be desired they than gold. Yeah, than much fine gold, sweeter than honey and the honeycomb. So the laws is to be more desired than gold. It said, yeah, fine gold, right? The finest gold you can find. The finest gold on earth, right? It's just the gold of Ophir. The gold and that's why the Most High is going to make a man in that day, a righteous man, more precious than fine gold, because he's going to be the ones, those men are going to be the ones that are walking embodiments of the law. They're going to be carrying the law, right? And it says to be more desired than gold. Yeah, more much. It's like much fine gold. So to be desired more than even fine gold, right? Sweeter than the honey and the honeycomb. It says, moreover, by them is the servant warned. So this is how you know when you're going off. It says you're warned by them, right? You're warned that you must keep the Sabbath day holy, right? That you have to honor your father and your mother, right? So you're warned by them. You're warned on how to be, on what you're supposed to do, okay? Because this is the wisdom in the sight of many nations, that they're going to see us. They're going to see us walking in these commandments, and they're going to say, surely this is a wise and understanding people, right? Because we know what's right and what's wrong and what's pleasing to the Most High God by the laws. You're not going to know them just by saying that I'm walking in love, and you don't have a definition or a real meaning behind the love, what love is. Because the Bible already gives us a definition of what love is, okay? So, and that's keeping the laws. Everything reverts back to keeping the laws, right? From the very beginning to the very end, keeping the laws. It says, moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. So again, this is to be desired more than any earthly possession. It says, in keeping of them there is great reward. So there is a great reward, and we know what that reward is. It's immortality. It's the tree of life. And that's what we're all striving for, Lord willing. That's what you're striving for, okay? So we're going to get into where the Ten Commandments, how the Ten Commandments was brought to the children of Israel, right? But always keep in mind that the commandments are to be desired more than any earthly possession, There's nothing more desired. It should be desired more than the commandments. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20, and I'm starting at verse 18. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 18. I'm going to a little bit of a history about the commandment, or about the 10, how we got to 10. Exodus chapter 20, and I'm starting at verse 18. And it says, and all the people saw the thundering and the lightning and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. So they saw this. They saw the lightning. They saw the thunder. They saw the smoke. And they were afraid, and they stood off. They started to be standoffish. And they were like, you speak with the Father, and we will hear you. You know what I'm saying? Or we will hear you, but let the Father speak to you, and you speak to us. So basically, they were asking Moses to be a mediator between the Heavenly Father and us, right? And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for God has come to prove you. So he says, fear not, don't be afraid, for this is what the Most High God has come to test you with. He's proving you. He's testing you. Okay? It says, and that his fear may be before your face, that ye sin not. So you will see these things. You will see this, and you will be afraid. You will be afraid to not do them, because you can see what great things he can do. Right? You are witnessing what great things that the Most High God can do. So you see some of his power. So be afraid of him, and so that you don't go and stray away from the commandments. So he's come to test you, right? So again, that's just a little bit of back history of how the 10 commandments, the 10 first, because he read the 10 from Exodus chapter 1. Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 on down, all the way down to 18. And then that's when the people were, they were like, well, that's enough. You know what I mean? We let you deal with them, and then we'll hear from you. Just let that, thundering and lightning and smoke stop. All right? So without further ado, let's get into the first commandment. The first commandment. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20. And I'll start at verse 1. Exodus 20 and verse 1. It says, And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Right off the top, the Most High God says that over and over again, because it's not a light thing to take one nation of people out of another nation of people. Okay? That is a thing that no other quote-unquote God on earth has ever performed or done. So right off the top, you should know how great he is. He brought you out of another nation, right? And you were a slave in this nation. So you were a slave in this nation, and he brought you out of this nation, right? So that's a great thing. So he says, I am the Lord thy God, your God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Okay? Right off the top, man was made to worship, right? You were made in the image and glory of him. So you were made to worship. Your whole purpose on earth was to worship him, not to put no other God before him, not to worship any other God but him. That's who you were created. That's what you were created for, was to give your respect, your honor, and your glory to him, right? You were made to worship him. So you aren't supposed to worship or put any other God before him, right? Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 14, and I'm going to start at verse 1. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 14 and verse 1. And it reads, Then came certain of the elders of Israel unto me, and sat before me. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, these men have set up their idols in their hearts and put a stumbling block of their iniquity before their face. Should I be inquired of at all by them? So, so, um, so the Most High God is saying that these men have set up a stumbling block, have set up idols in their hearts, in their minds. They set up idols in their minds, and it has been a stumbling block, right? He set up an idol in their minds, and it has been a stumbling block. It says, should I inquire of that all by them? Should I even listen to them? Should I be listening to these people? Right? They set up idols in their minds, who they've worshipped, who they've got in the forefront of their minds. Not me. They don't have no respect to me, right? Because the first thing that they're thinking about, the first thing that's in their heart or in their mind, and who they hold in high regard and high respect, is another deity, is another God. When I'm the true living God, saith the Lord, right? The Most High God is saying this. It says, so just understand right off the top that you can set up idols in your mind, right? You can set up an idol in your mind. You can set up a stumbling block before you, okay? And that's something that you don't want to do, because he says that thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's the first commandment, right? So I'm going to continue on. It says, therefore speak unto them and say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, every man of the house of Israel that sitteth up his idol in his heart, and putteth a stumbling block of his iniquity before his face, and cometh to the prophet, I the Lord will answer him that cometh according to the multitude of his idol. So if you are coming to the Most High God, or if you're coming to the man of the Lord already off top with a stumbling block of the Most High, or of a stumbling block, or another God in your mind, you already got something set up in your mind, whether it be smoking, whether it be pornography, whether it be shoes, whether it be your a girlfriend, your family. You can set up any type of idol before the Most High God that you hold high regards before the Heavenly Father, right? You chose to do what they want you to do, or what that thing wants you to do, before the Most High God wanted you to do, right? That's setting up a stumbling block or an idol in your mind, right? So first and foremost, it's got to be the Most High God, His commandments. It's got to be that first. It says, I will answer him that cometh according to the multitude of his idols, that I may take the house of Israel in their own heart, because they are all estranged from me through their idols. They're all estranged from me through their idols. You made yourself a stranger to him off top. So you can't, when you wake up in the morning, you can't be focused on something else, right? A lot of men like I said, put women first. Let's get that first. Let's just go to the book of First Ezra. Let's go to the book of First Ezra chapter 4 and verse 26. First Ezra chapter 4 and verse 26. So we want to get the understanding of this law. Okay? We don't want to just be able to say it and not really get a good understanding of it. Let's get a good understanding of this law. Okay? So an example of setting up idols in your mind. First Ezra chapter 4 and verse 26. First Ezra chapter 4 and verse 26 says, yeah, many there be that have run out of their wits for women, and become servants of their sakes, for their sakes. So many men have come and run, it says, have run out of their wits for women. They've done all that they can do just to get a woman, or just to keep a woman, or just to please a woman, right? You setting up a god, an idol, a deity, or somebody else, and you made it a god. You've worshipped it. You sacrificed for it, right? You put all that you had into it. before the Most High God and not for the Most High God. If I'm making sense, you've done all that you can for that, and the first part of your day should be for the Most High God, whether it be giving worship, giving praise. Let praise from always be on your lips of the Most High God Father, the Heavenly Father. Always be praising Him, His name. So that's got to be on the first forefront of your mind, as pleasing Him, doing what He wants you to do, and doing according to how you're supposed to be treating your wife or your husband, right? That's how you do. If the Most High God says to love your wife as yourself, get the good understanding of how you're supposed to do that. Get a good understanding of how you're supposed to do that, and then do it, right? Don't go outside of the commandments. The Most High God didn't tell you to do everything for that wife, right? Because you're not supposed to. That's not being a good husband. You're not being a good leader to your wife. You're supposed to do what He told you to do according to how He told you to do it, right? You should not do everything for your spouse. You should do it, like I said, according to what the Heavenly Father told you how you're supposed to do it. Okay. A lot of people put money as an idol or as a god or as a worship. They worship that. They hold it in high respect, right? So let's get the book of 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 8. So you don't want to run out of your wits for a woman. You don't want to give your strength unto a woman, like it tells you in Proverbs 31. You don't want to give your strength unto her, okay? So you have a way, an order of going about things, and you want to get a good understanding of how you're supposed to delegate your time and yourself to those people. I don't want to spend too much time on that. I hope you get understanding of that. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 8, and it reads, "And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content." It says, "And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content." So we're supposed to be content with what we got, right? It says, "But they that will be rich will fall into temptation and a snare." But it says, "But they that will be rich," right? So you have people that are and will be rich. It says, will be rich, fall into temptation and a snare. It says, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men and destroy in perdition. So you got things. Riches can cause hurtful lusts. It can cause things that can hurt. That can hurt you. It can cause things that can hurt family members, right? Because the first thing people do when they get riches is they forget where they come from, right? They forget to help out their people. They forget to help out who got them there, right? They don't show respect. They become real selfish, right? We become real selfish people. So it becomes a hurtful lust, right? And it says a foolish and hurtful lust, which drown men. And that's something that drowns men. You know what I'm saying? Because we become self-centered and it's all about us. Oh, you come to me because you know I got money. It becomes real vain, right? Real prideful. And it's a really ugly spirit. So you got to be careful when it comes to riches, because it can consume and be a temptation unto men. And you can fall into that and be a hurtful lust, right? And it can divide family. It's just an ugly thing, right? It's no righteousness in it at all. So, but what should be content is that you have food, you have raiment, right? You have clothing, you have things you have a roof over your head, right? You got, the Most High God has given you just enough, okay? So it should be something that you should be content in. Not to say that riches is bad, because if you do it lawfully, it's good. So you want to get a good understanding of these things. You want to get a good understanding of how you're supposed to operate and the manner of things. So to say riches are bad, riches aren't bad, because Abraham had riches. A lot of our forefathers had money, right? They were rich and wealthy people. So you want to get a good understanding of how you're supposed to act when you get these things. You don't want to go outside of the and Most High God is not going to give you something. He's not going to, let me say it like this. He's not going to give you a job and you got the job, but you got to break the Sabbath. He's not going, that didn't come from the Father. If you got to work on the Sabbath to keep this job, that didn't come from the Most High God. That was a test that you failed, right? If you're taking that, you failed that test, right? So the Most High God is giving you, he will never give you something that'll have you break his law. Okay? That should be off the top 101 test. If it's considered a blessing or riches that's going to have me break one of his laws, then that didn't come from him. Okay? If I'm getting money, or if I'm working and I desire to have money and I desire it so much that I break the Sabbath, I hurt my brother in the midst of it that's also keeping the law, or I'll do whatever it takes to get this money, right, lawfully or not. Those aren't riches. That's not from the Most High God. That's not something that he desired for you to have and like it. You're not supposed to have it like that, right? So the Most High God, simply put, is not going to give you money, riches, that's going to have you go outside of his law, okay? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 31. Book of Sirach, chapter 31. And it reads, watching for riches consumeth the flesh, right? So you're watching for it. You're waiting for it. You ain't got nothing else on your mind but riches. You're watching for it. Okay? It says, watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. So all you're thinking about is riches, and it's driving away sleep. You can't even sleep right. You're not even getting rest because you're worried about riches. That's not from the Father. It says, watching, verse 2, watching care will not let a man slumber, as a sore disease breaketh sleep. So watching for riches is not, so you shouldn't be watching for riches. It shouldn't be something that causes you to lose sleep over, right? I'm going to jump down to verse 5. He that loveth gold shall not be justified. He that loveth gold shall not be justified. And he that followeth corruption shall have enough thereof. Gold hath been the ruin of many, and their destruction was present. So gold has been the ruin of many people. Money has been a ruin of many people. Okay? And the way they went about it was that they went outside of the laws. They didn't have good understanding when it came to money. Right? So the Bible tells you, with all thy getting, get understanding. If you get anything, get a good understanding of how you're supposed to operate in it, according to the Father, so that you don't violate the first commandment. Right? Have no other gods before me. Right? Get a good understanding. It says, it is a stumbling block unto them that sacrifice unto it. So that's a stumbling block that's in their mind, where it talked about in the book of Ezekiel, right? Some men had money on their mind as a stumbling block. That stumbling block was money, right? It says, it is a stumbling block unto them that sacrifice unto it, meaning they gave everything they had. They gave everything to money, to get money. They did everything, right? It became a stumbling block. It says, and every fool shall be taken therewith, right? So every fool shall be taken of it, and you're going to be ruined by it, and it's going to consume you, and it's going to corrupt you at the end when it's all said and done. So let's go to Sirach. Let's go to verse 8. Let's just jump to verse 8. It says, "Blessed is the rich that is found without blemish." So it says, "Blessed is the rich that is found without blemish." So to say you can't have nice material, you can't have a gold necklace or a gold earring or a gold watch or whatever, you can still you can still be blessed behind it, because if you went about it the right way, if you went about it in the right manner, right? If you got that gold, if you got that gold necklace or that gold watch or earring or a nice dress or a nice garment, whatever the case may be, and you went about it the right way, that's a blessing. That's truly a blessing, because you didn't go outside of the laws, you didn't falsify the balance, you didn't do anything in particular, you didn't do anything mischievous to get it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't corrupt, you didn't go lie to your brother or sister to get it. You went about it the right way. You kept the Sabbath day. You know what I'm saying? I didn't work on the Sabbath day. I still rested, and I still kept the law. That's a blessing. The Most High God gave you that up outright, right? So it says, "Blessed is the rich that is found without blemish, and have not gone after gold." So he didn't go after gold. He didn't make that his God, or she didn't make that her God. She didn't make that everything to them, right? It wasn't. I'm not gonna hold a holy convocation because I gotta go work. You know what I'm saying? I'm not keeping the Sabbath because I gotta go work. You did it the wrong way, right? Let's see here. Let's go to I'm gonna go ahead and read verse 9. It says, "Who is he? And we will call him blessed." So if a person that didn't go about it the wrong way, it said call him blessed, because it is a blessing. It says, "For wonderful things have he done among his people." So he's done wonderful things among his people, right? He didn't go outside God's commandments to get rich, to get blessed. That is truly a blessing. It says, "Our people," it says, "For the love of money is the root of all evil." So the love of it, if that's all you think about, if you put that as a stumbling block in your heart, that is the root of all evil, right? The love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrow. So they erred in the faith. It says, which while some covet after. So some men or women covet after. They lust after it. They have a great passion or lust after money, right? They have it, and they made it a stumbling block in their minds. Let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 16. The book of Matthew chapter 16. And I'm starting at verse 24. It says, "Then saith Yahushua unto his disciples, If any man will come unto me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." You've got to stop. You've got to deny what you thought was what you're following after. You know what I'm saying? Your riches. You got to deny yourself. You got to deny, I'm made to play basketball, or I'm made to play football, right? That's what I'm made for. I'm built for that. No, you're built to keep the law, statutes, and commandments and to worship the Father. That's what you're built for. That's what you're created for. That's what you're designed for, right? You're not built to be an attorney or to be a lawyer, or to be a doctor. You're built to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's your whole duty of man, is to fear God and keep his commandments. That's the whole duty of man. That's the whole purpose of a Hebrew Israelite woman, right? Of an Israelite man, an Israelite child. That's the whole purpose of you. That's the whole reason why you're created. So you got to deny yourself and don't corrupt, don't put your needs above what the Father told you to do, right? If you are a lawyer, right, if you bring that talent into the body, right, and you bless your people with that. If you are a doctor, then you bring that talent, that gift into the body, and you bless your people with that, right? So you got to deny yourself. You got to deny what you want, what you think is the right thing to do. You got to put that off, because that's weak, right? You got to put on what the Most High God told you to do. Deny yourself, right, and put on your cross, and follow him. It says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life for my sake shall find it. So if you lose your life, meaning if it's causing you to not be able to serve the Father, if being a lawyer is causing you to not be able to serve the Most High God, then you just put yourself above him, right? So if you say, look, no, I'm gonna keep the Sabbath day holy, right? Whether it be the seventh day of the week, or whether it be the moon, right? People got to where they celebrate the lunar way. So if you're celebrating it that way, then keep it that way, right? Don't stray from it. Don't make no excuses. It says, for whosoever shall save his life shall lose it. And it says, whosoever shall lose his life for my sake shall find it. You're going to find your true purpose, your true calling, your true meaning of life, why you're here, why you were created. If you put off that, you're going to really find why you're here. He's going to give you your purpose, your real true purpose, and it's going to fulfill you. Verse 26, it says, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? So what does it profit you if you get all of these riches on earth, but you go to the Father and you ain't got nothing to show for it, because you left all your riches on earth, because you can't take it. You can't take that riches with you. So what did you gain? You lost it, right? You lost it. It says, for what is a man profit if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? So you lost the most thing that's precious to you. You lost your soul because you didn't do nothing to build up your spiritual man. You didn't do nothing to put riches in heaven. You did nothing to build up your structure, your body, your spiritual body. You did nothing, right? You followed after riches. That's what you did. It says, or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? You can't give nothing in exchange for your soul. The Most High God can't do nothing with that money, that gold. It's nothing to him, right? Keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. Keep the Most High God first, right? So let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 7. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and 7, it says, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. You can't, that's self-explanatory. You can't carry nothing out. You didn't bring nothing in, and you can't take it with you, right? So the commandments is a true heritage. If it's a true purpose for you, it's going to be a true purpose for your children. It's going to be a true meaning and a true calling for your kids. So that's the true riches. Like King David said, there should be nothing. Nothing is more valuable than the commandments. There's nothing more sweeter than keeping his laws. Nothing. But you also have to watch out again. Like I said, you have men and women that will tell you that the laws are done away with. So they're doing away with something that's very precious that endures forever. Forever, right? You got people that are trying to do away with it. But the point, we have brought nothing into this world, and we are certain we can carry nothing out. It is certain. It is evident. It is a fact that you can carry nothing out. So why not build up your spirit? Why not build up your soul? Because you're going to stand naked in front of the Most High God, and you ain't going to have nothing to show for it. Because like I said, all your riches are going to be on earth. Right? Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15 and verse 16. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, verse 16. It says, For man made them, and he, hold on, Slakia. Make sure I'm on the right one. For man made them, and he that borrowed his own soul fashioned them, but no man can make a God like unto himself. So this is talking about idols. Man made idols, right? And it says, how can you, it says, and he that borrowed his own soul fashioned them, and he that borrowed his own spirit fashioned them. So you can't make anything like yourself. Men are trying to make something like themselves. There's nothing more advanced, magnificent on this earth like a human being, right? But men are out there trying to make something that's more like us, more like yourself. But and eventually, if they do, like the whole AI thing, the whole artificial intelligence, they're going to eventually worship it. As a matter of fact, I think they already started doing that, worshiping it, bowing themselves down to it, giving their all to it, giving everything they have, dedicated their life to this artificial intelligence, right? Because ultimately, that's what they want to do. They want to worship something. But again, it says, for a man made them, and he that borrowed his own soul. You borrowed your own soul. This isn't even yours. This is the Father. The Most High God gave this to you. It says, but no man can make a God like unto himself. You can't do it. Okay, verse 17. It says, for being mortal, he worketh a dead thing with wicked hands. So it's dead. It's not alive. It's not breathing. It's not functioning. It's not thinking on its own. It's not operating. It don't have blood pumping through it. It's not like you, right? For he himself is better than the thing which he worshiped. He himself is better than the thing which he worshiped. They got idols. They got statues, a picture or a painting. Don't set up something, a painting, to bow down and worship it, right? That's something a man made. A man made that. That's not to be worshipped. It says, whereas he lived once, but they never. So the man lives, and the man lived once. But those things that he created ain't never lived. They ain't never breathed life. They ain't never breathed air. They never ate nothing or drank anything. They never have. So they're not to be worshipped. It says, let's go to the book of Luke. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 20 and verse 38. Luke chapter 20, verse 38. It says, for he is not a God of the dead, but of the living. For all live unto him. Yeah, Slakia. For he is not a God of the dead, but of the living. For all live unto him. Everything that lives is of him, right? And it's from him, and it's unto him, right? You got to be thinking, hey, there's nothing, you know what I'm saying? The Most High God created everything. So give it to him. Worship him, right? You can't see him. You don't have to go and like, if it's something that you had made or something, the idol that you created to be worshipped, whether it be a woman or anything, you got to stand in front of him, man. All you got to do with the Most High God is face the east. That's all you got to do. Anywhere you at, face the east. Pray. You know what I'm saying? He's there. Last scripture, and I'm going to wrap this up. This is the Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 27. Wisdom of Solomon 14:27. It says, for the wisdom, Salakia, for the worship of idols not to be named is the beginning and the cause and the end of all evil. Right? So this is the beginning, and the cause of all evil. Worshiping idols, right? Worshiping anything before the Father, right? So an idol can be anything. It can be something that you put in your mind. It can be something that you literally bow down to. It's something that you give your all to when you're supposed to be giving your all to the Father, all your strength, right? I'm staying up late. I'm all nights of the hours and all day for this job or to finish this project, when you should be doing that, giving that strength to the Father. You should be putting all that strength and effort and energy to the Father, to the Most High God, right? So with all that get understanding, have no other God before thee. Put no other God before the Most High God, right? And I'm gonna end it with this, with the first commandment, which is in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt have no other gods. Put no other idols to be worshipped, to be respected. Man, woman, child, holidays, nothing in front of money, cell phone, TV, nothing in front of the Most High God. Don't put all of your strength, don't put all of your energy into anything but the Father. Not saying you can't do those things, but all of your strength, all of your attention, all of your respect should be towards the Father himself, right? So with that, I'm going to give all praises and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. And I'm going to say, all praises and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem, HaMashiach, Yahweh Shai, and giving all praises and glory to him, and honors to the brothers and sisters pushing this truth in sincerity, and to the elders that taught us this truth. And with that, I'll say Shalom, Mu'abarak, Mashpakah.